Welcome and welcome back, fellow mystics, to my channel, Diaries of a Lunar Soul. As usual, in this reading, we're connecting with your soul just to check in with your higher self and find out what messages you need to hear right now. And it's a good practice to check in with your soul, with your spirit, with your higher self, because an interesting fact I'll bring into this reading is we carry emotional trauma for up to 7 generations back. So right now you could be feeling angry or sad, but it's because that feeling is actually coming from your great grandmother, right? Interesting. So we carry emotional trauma in our auric field for up to 7 generations back. So sometimes the emotions we go through and the effects, or rather the emotions we go through are effects of an emotional trauma that our ancestors and parents, grandparents felt or experienced in their lifetime. So checking in with your soul is a good practice because your soul holds the blueprint of how you can actually overcome those emotional traumas, because sometimes we incarnate into the next lifetime so that we can learn how to move beyond ancestral patterns and live the life we are meant to live, experience our own emotions rather than the emotions of our ancestors and emotions that we've inherited from generational links, right? So it's a good practice because your soul will let you know how you can overcome those emotional traumas and how you can let them go, and this will make your auric field stronger, clearer, and you'll just feel less heavy. You'll not feel like you're carrying the weight of the world. So sometimes, especially when you're feeling like you're so overwhelmed, like you're carrying the weight of the world and you can't explain why you're feeling like that, most of the time those are your emotional karmic wounds that you've inherited from past lifetimes, and you're just feeling the effects in this current lifetime. And usually those are emotional wounds that were not resolved, so your soul brought them into this next lifetime so that you can resolve them. Anyway, so we're going to check in with your spirit and your soul to know what messages you need to hear right now. And I'm curious to know whether whatever messages that come through in the main reading are going to be related to ancestral patterns, because for some reason I felt called to talk about the whole ancestral carrying generational emotional karmic wounds. So yeah, we'll see how that comes up in the reading, or maybe not. And as usual, there's an energy check just to make sure that whatever comes through in the main reading is meant for you. So please, before moving on to the main reading, please listen to the energy check, and if that message there resonates with you, then it means the messages in the main reading are going to be for you. Okay, so the timestamps are in the description below. So with that said, let's begin. Okay, so let's do a quick energy reading and check whether the messages that come through in the main reading will vibe with you, or if they don't resonate. So if the messages here resonate, then by all means head on over to the main reading. But if the messages here don't make sense, or you feel like I'm not describing you, then go back and check in my playlist. I'm sure you'll get some more messages there, and you'll find a video that resonates with you. Bottom line, don't force yourself. Don't force the messages that come through here to make sense, okay? Right, so before I wanted to get this out, before I even started doing this reading, like I sort of had a wave of energy, and that energy sort of felt like an energy of defeat, despair, like hopelessness, like so feeling overwhelmed. And this, not even now, it didn't even happen now, it actually occurred. I started feeling like that yesterday night, and I was thinking, okay, so is this me who's feeling like this, or am I just speaking the energies of the people around me? And I was like, I'm not even going to record, because I'm thinking maybe this energy is just me feeling like this, and I don't want to record something when I'm feeling like I'm not 100%. But then I remembered one of my readings, one of my video readings, I talked about psychic healers or psychic readers fearing to project their own emotions or feelings into a reading. And I was like, hey, Roxy, you're preaching wine, you're drinking, wait, is it preaching? Yeah, you're preaching water and drinking wine, right? However that saying goes, but you get what I mean. So I was like, okay, I'm going to force myself to just do the reading and see what comes through. Because if there's one thing I've learned about this journey towards spiritual awakening or spiritual ascension, is that those times when you're feeling very, very low, very discouraged, hopeless, defeated, those are the times when you really need to connect with your spirit, because your guides will help uplift you. Don't isolate yourself. This is the best time to actually now feel even more connected to spirit. The moment you isolate yourself, then you're cutting yourself off from the guidance that your higher self can give you. So I just had to force myself to make this recording, and I'm so curious to find out what messages come through here. And I'm curious to find out whether it was just me feeling what I was feeling and it was just my own personal feelings, or if it's the energy of the collective. Because I have to say something. I'm actually a clairsentient, which is I usually pick up people's energies through my physical body. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if I'm standing next to someone who's feeling sad, I'll actually feel their sadness as if it was my own sadness. Sucks, right? And sometimes if it's so extreme, if I'm standing next to someone who, let's say, has a broken leg, broken arm, sometimes I'll actually feel the pain on my arm or my leg the same way that other person is feeling. So clairsentients pick up people's energies through their bodies, meaning it's like we're walking a mile in someone else's shoes. And of all the clairs, it's usually, I find that it's one of the toughest ones, because as a clairvoyance will see images of that person being sad or feeling pain, and then a clairaudient will sort of hear the thoughts of that person, and a claircognizant person is going to just know that that person is sad or in pain. But a clairsentient, you'll feel those emotions as if they were your own. And that's why sometimes it can be very difficult to discern whether the emotions you're feeling are yours or the other person's feelings. So yesterday I was a bit confused, because I was like, am I the one who's feeling this, or am I feeling the energy of the collective? So then I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to give myself a break and just take time to evaluate whether what I'm feeling is just my own feelings or the collective. So then out of the blues, I heard this song by Macklemore. It's called Neon Cathedral. I'm sure some of you know it, but if you don't know it, I would say go listen to it. It's such a cool song. So I listened to that song and then I realized, wait, I'm a clairsentient. So how come all of a sudden I'm feeling this wave of sadness, hopelessness, defeat, yet a few minutes before that I was actually happy, I was okay, I was healthy, I was dancing, yeah? So then it hit me that usually the way I can determine whether the emotions I'm feeling are my own emotions is if for some reason all of a sudden I was happy and then out of the blues I get that sudden wave of a different kind of emotion, that's usually when I know the emotions I'm feeling right now are not mine, because they've come up so suddenly that they can't be emanating from me. They're coming from an external source. And because of that, that's why sometimes you find clairsentient or clairempaths are very emotionally guarded. Like at first, like when you first meet them, you'll feel like they're cold or distant, and they don't want to reveal their emotions to you. But it's because they put up those energetic walls, because they're very susceptible to absorbing people's energies. So they sort of have to have a higher wall than other clairsentients, the clairvoyants, the clairaudience, and the claircognizance. The clairempath has to have a high emotional wall so that she can protect, or he can protect, his body, because he feels the emotions as if they were, he feels other people's emotions as if they were their own emotions, and that's very hard. And then trying to determine which emotions are yours and which ones are not yours, it's very confusing and can be a bit overwhelming. You feel like you're carrying the weight of the world, like Atlas, right? And that's sort of the emotion I was feeling just before this reading. And the other clair channels also experience the same thing, but the issue with why clairsentients have this, are more impacted with this thing, emotions, other people's emotions, is because the aura of the clairsentient, all auras have like a porous, there are some small holes, you know, like the skin, the way the skin has holes. So it's the same thing. Auras also have holes, like porous holes, right? Because energy has to come in and energy has to come out. So energy goes in and out through those porous holes. But for a clairsentient, those holes are quite huge. Like those porous holes are big, yeah? And that's how they're able to absorb so much of other people's energies. But on the bright side as well, they can also absorb people's happy energies. So it's not all doom and gloom, yeah? Just as much as you can absorb people's sadness, you can also absorb people's happiness. And also the same thing, if you're standing next to a clairsentient and they're feeling happy and energized, same goes for you. You will absorb their emotions, because as much as they absorb, they also exude that emotion as well to other people. So, and that's why sometimes clairsentients tend to be very drained if they don't do energetic, they don't protect their aura, because those big holes release a lot of energy and also take in a lot of energy, and that can be a bit taxing. So maybe that's why I was feeling so overwhelmed, and like I was feeling like I didn't even want to record this reading, but I had to force myself. So I'm curious to find out whether what information comes through about that, and whether that is what Spirit wants to talk about, or maybe they just wanted me to let that out and teach you guys about clairs and the clair channels. And so yeah, so let's see what Spirit has to say about your energy, about your current energy. And if some of you are feeling defeated, well, c'est la vie. Don't ignore those feelings, accept them and just ride the wave, okay? Everything passes. So let's see. So let's ask Spirit what your current energy is like. I'm still feeling a bit confused, so if my rant there you felt like it was all over the place, it's because my energy right now, I'm just low in energy. So we'll see whether that comes up in the reading. So Spirit, give me the strengths of the person this reading is meant for. And we have door to romance, upside down, reversed. Interesting. Some of you are feeling a little bit heartbroken. Okay. Right. And then, but that's your strength. So it's interesting that it came up in reverse. So give me the weaknesses. The thinking woman in reverse. Okay, let's get more cards. Clarifiers. Spirit, please give me clarifier for the door to romance. Those are too many. Those are 3 cards. I'll take the first one. Regret. I know that I cannot change the past. Okay. Paired with the door to romance. And then give me a clarifier for the weaknesses. Okay, these 2 wanted to come up, but okay, let me just this is the confusion, guys, I was telling you about. So let's see. I just want one card because I'm going to use more decks today. Self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Weakness. Self-esteem. Some of you don't believe in yourselves, don't have confidence in yourself. Okay, let's get the archetypes. Please give me the archetypes for the strengths. Warrior. Interesting. Some things are starting to click when I'm seeing these cards of what I was feeling the way I was feeling. So let's see. Give me an archetype for the weakness, and we have the martyr. Interesting. Guys, what I talked about, feeling like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. The martyr. Okay, let's get more cards. I want more today because I need more information. So give me a clarifier. I want to see which chakra is strongest and which chakra is blocked for you guys. Discovery. This is the root chakra, red. That's your strength. Give me for the weaknesses. Throat chakra, impatience. So that's the chakra that's weak right now. Maybe that's why I'm finding it really hard to talk. The throat chakra is blocked. Right, so let me just take in the energies and then I'll explain what I'm getting. Okay, so for your strengths, the message coming through here is, first of all, possibly some of you are sort of recovering from a heartbreak, yeah, because the door to romance is upside down. So some of you are sort of recovering from a heartbreak. Can you see even the heart is there, yeah, in that discovery card? You've just come out of a intense time where you are recovering from a possible heartbreak. Someone let you down, yeah, or a breakup. Anyway, so your strength is you're very good at healing from your mistakes, healing from things. Because the regret is something that is about looking back at what your choices and your actions and regretting doing them, wishing that you had not done them. So the message coming through here is you guys are very good at correcting your mistakes. You're very good at learning from your mistakes. You're the warriors. Strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. Stoicism and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. So you don't let your past mistakes hold you down for too long. Yes, you feel, oh my God, I wish I didn't do that. But you're always pushing yourself in the sense saying that, no, everything that goes wrong in my life, there's a lesson to learn from it. So, and that's why the discovery card is here. You always look at your problems and mistakes as a way to learn from it. You don't let them bring you down for too long. You're the warrior. You're very strong. So as much as you feel hurt or wounded, you always find a way to pick yourself up and see the lessons in your mistakes. So that's your strength. Very good at learning from your mistakes. Yes. That's the message. So you don't see things as you rarely regret something. And it's sort of like most of you learn from putting your hand in the fire. That's how you best learn. So you see it as that, like, if I don't go for it, I'd rather burn, but at least I learn from it. That's sort of how you guys learn things. That's how you discover yourself. You heal yourself. You're very grounded, and you're very grounded because of that. More grounded than the people around you. Remember, this strengths area is usually something that you do better than everyone else. So as much as whatever it is that I'm talking about seems like it's a common thing, Spirit here is sort of trying to make you guys blush by telling you, hey, did you know that you're very good at learning from your mistakes? You learn from your mistakes better than anyone else around you, and that's something you do very well, but sometimes you don't notice it. So them bringing it up here is, you're so good at it that you take it for granted. You don't know that that's a talent, that's a gift that you have that not many people have. Okay, you're a warrior. You have a very strong will. No matter what happens to you, you always find a way to get back up, learn from your mistakes, and then move on to the next new thing. You don't hold grudges for too long, and you don't hold resentments, okay, in your body. So that's cool. Right. Then for your weaknesses, interesting. Possess the gifts that benefit me and others. So for your weaknesses, remember I've said that you guys are very good at learning from your mistakes, yeah? But Spirit is saying sometimes you guys are too clever for your own good. Sometimes you learn too well about that mistake that it makes you sort of a little bit scared to try again, because you got burnt. So now, and you've learned so much. You've learned, putting my hand in this situation got me burnt, so I'm not gonna do it again. Yeah, like you become so rigid after that. You're very good at learning from your mistakes, but once you learn from your mistakes, you become rigid and you don't even try to stay open. Because you see, like this guy here is open, right? Like open to the world, learning the transcendence nature of service to oneself or a cause. Like, you're too clever for your own good. And I'll give an example of what I mean by being too clever for your own good. Remember I said when I was doing this reading, at some point I felt like I didn't even want to do the reading, because I was like, I think whatever it is that I'm feeling is just my own feelings, and I don't feel like talking about my feelings when I don't in the reading, and I don't feel like it's a collective reading, yet this is a collective reading anyway. So yeah, so I was talking to my guides and I was telling them I'm not going to do that reading, and then I was trying to justify and rationalize why I am so like, I don't feel like doing this. And I was saying, you know what, maybe I've done enough. Yeah, like maybe I've done the much that I can on this spiritual journey, and right now I just want to live a life where I don't feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders, the martyr. Okay, I just want to live my own life. Maybe I've done my purpose of serving others, yeah, service to oneself or a cause. So I've done my part of serving others. Maybe I'll continue the rest in my next lifetime. Because I'm sort of aware that we have free will, right? So as much as when you incarnated here, your soul had a blueprint of what you're meant to achieve in this lifetime, you always have free will. So if you don't want to continue pursuing that mission in this particular lifetime, you can always say, nope, I'm done. I'm now going to focus on something else, and then I'll continue this in the next lifetime. That's you being too clever for your own good. That's usually what Spirit tells me. You know so much that sometimes you use that rational thinking to talk you out of following what makes your heart pump, you know, which is this self-discovery. And I can't help but notice there's a rose flower here, and then there's a rose flower here as well. Discovery, that's your passion. Serving others, serving people, that was your mission. But sometimes your weakness is you're too clever for your own good. You have so much knowledge inside of you about how the universe works that sometimes you talk yourself down. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. Self-esteem, right? You talk yourself from following your mission because you become impatient. So that's what I was saying, that at some point I usually feel like these obstacles of the spiritual journey are too much. I can't handle this whole picking up people's energies. I'm done. I just want to feel my own energies. And because of that, I try and negotiate with my spirit guides, and I'm like, it's okay, let's leave it at this here, and then in my next lifetime I'll pick up from where I left off in this lifetime. But for this lifetime, I just want to feel my own feelings and live my own life as it is right now. Okay, like you try and abandon your mission, and your rationale for it is usually a very good reason, yeah, but spirit is saying that's usually your weakness. Sometimes you're too clever for your own good, and they're saying sometimes let go of what your mind is telling you, okay, and just become that martyr, yeah, just surrender to the plan of spirit, because spirit always has a plan, a better plan than we always have. So as much as we are clever and we know what to do and we know how the universe works, sometimes just tell your mind, shut the hell up, and I'll just surrender to spirit and focus on giving myself to others the best way that I can. And that's why for some reason they sort of pushed me to just make this recording, because I was feeling a little bit like, no, I just want to focus on me and just try and focus on myself instead of having to always be holding up people and giving people self-talk, pep talks and telling them you go. But they were like, no, just surrender, just give yourself, take the lead. As much as you're feeling low and down and you don't want to talk about things, just lead people out of that darkness, because whatever it is that I was picking up is an energy of the collective. So the way I can be of service to others, the way I can help even myself to get out of that this low, dreary situation, is if I use my knowledge, my talent, my throat chakra to help, even if it's just one person out of it, then it will also help raise my own vibration, okay? So that weight of the world that I was feeling will be uplifted if I just do that one act of kindness. So the other message coming through here is sometimes some of you are self-centered, too self-centered, which is not a bad thing. You should always put yourself first. But spirit is saying sometimes you become too self-centered, because there's so many cards here about me. Like Mata is giving to other people, but then this is in the weakness position, meaning you're into yourself. The thinking woman is inward. Usually when it's upright, it means she's sharing knowledge with others, right? Watch her thoughts with the outside world. But when it's upside down like this, the message coming through is she's just sharing her thoughts with her internal self, like just thoughts are inside of her. So some of you are a little bit self-centered, but spirit wants you to be a bit open. So even those days when you don't feel like going out into the world and sharing your voice with the world or your gift, spirit is saying sometimes just force yourself, yeah. Force yourself. You'll feel much better when you do that. Your self-esteem will get a boost, okay? You'll feel much better. So just force yourself to do it. Okay, so speaking of forcing myself to do things, right, so oh my god, I hope this video doesn't feel so dark or gloomy, but anyway, that's the energy that I'm picking up, and yeah, I'm gonna express it the way it comes through. So to recap, your strengths are, you're very good at getting over heartbreak, or when you're very good at correcting your mistakes. You're very good at learning from your mistakes, and you're very strong, and you push yourself through. You have a very strong will, and that's because you're the eternal student. You don't hold on to things for too long. You don't hold on to resentments for too long, because you're like, every mistake that happens in my life, there was a lesson to be learned from it. Okay? Yeah? And that's a strength, because it helps you to constantly keep evolving yourself. Yeah? And your heart is always open. But a weakness is, sometimes you're too clever for your own good. You try and rationalize why you're feeling a certain way, to the point where it makes you seclude yourself from people and stop yourself from sharing your talent, your gifts with the people. Yeah? I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. You're too clever for your own good, and you limit your own soul growth, because sometimes you have a hard time seeing the bigger picture. Okay? The bigger picture with this matter, which is, you go through the experiences you go through so that you not just help yourself, but you're also helping other people. Remember what I talked about, the clairsentience, right? So you feel those emotions of people, or you feel whatever it is that you're feeling, because you're meant to learn from it, and then go out and help others learn from that feeling that you're feeling as well. Okay? So the weakness for you sometimes is, you retreat too much, you seclude yourself, you're a bit self-centered, and you fail to see the bigger picture. When you're feeling sad and alone and isolated, instead of going out into the world and sharing your knowledge and sharing your voice, or speaking to people about how you're feeling, you tend to retreat, and that keeps you small and limited. Okay, so let's head on over to the main reading and see what more messages come through, and see whether this part of the reading is going to show up again in that main reading. So if this weird reading here today, this was just a weird reading, resonates with you, then by all means head on over to the main reading. But if you didn't feel connected to this reading here, what I talked about here, then I suggest you go back and watch the other videos in my playlist, because the messages in the main reading might not be for you at this time. Okay? But maybe later on, another day, the messages will make sense. Okay? Right. So for those moving on to the main reading, see you over there. Okay, so if you've gotten to this part, it means the energy check resonated with you, and I'm so glad you decided to move on to this main reading. So, right, let's now check what your soul wants you to know right now, as well as a practical step you can take in regard to the messages that come through. And yeah, so we saw that in the energy check, we saw that your strengths are that you're very good at learning from your mistakes, and that helps you to keep learning and keep transforming yourself. But a weakness is that you sometimes are too clever for your own good, and because of that, it limits you from seeing the bigger picture of your soul's journey or your soul's mission, and this keeps you a little bit limited and prevents you from growing as fast as you should. So as much as you're very good at learning from your mistakes, and you transform, because of your weakness of having a hard time being too clever for your own good, and having a hard time seeing the bigger picture of your soul's mission or spirit's plan, you don't transform as fast as you should. Yeah? So let's see whether that spirit wants to continue that message here, or maybe there's a new message here. Okay? So, right. Let's start with the theme. What's the theme of this reading, Spirit? What messages does their soul want them to know right now? What do we need to know right now? General theme. Okay, get back into balance. No wonder I was feeling Yeah, remember when I said I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed? Like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders, and possibly that's also what the energy of the collective is. Just feeling confused, out of balance, not knowing whether you're on the right path. Yeah? So the theme of this reading is finding your balance. Interesting. We'll see how that comes through. Because for sure, I certainly have been feeling a little bit off balance, emotionally overwhelmed, tired. Yeah. So let's get tarot and just see what more messages come through from that agate. Get back into balance. So that get back into balance could also mean that your inner feminine and masculine energies are out of sync. Remember, we all have that inner feminine and masculine, the yin and the yang energies. They're out of sync. And when they're out of sync, we usually feel confused and a little bit overwhelmed because it means we're using one of them too much. Four of Cups. See how bored this girl looks. Yep. Which is interesting because the fours in tarot usually represent stability. Yeah. And you can see here it's unstable. There's one on this side and there's also there's three here. Very unstable. So some of you are feeling very unstable, and because of that, it's making you feel bored. Exactly. Now that's where the energy I was feeling when I told you guys I was feeling so lackluster. Like I didn't feel like making this video. So yeah, I was feeling bored. Picking up the energy of the collective. We'll see how that comes up when I channel the main message. Okay, Spirit, what do they need to know right now? Okay, those are too many, Spirit. What do they need to know right? But I saw the Queen of Cups, so it's interesting. There's a lot of emotions. Cups. What do they need to know right now on their journey here on Earth? The world. Again, the weight of the world on your shoulders, right? You can't make this up. So for all you guys who doubt tarot, you're seeing how tarot is so, or rather divination tools are so accurate at picking up the energy. Yeah? Why am I putting this back? And I have not finished. So now let's see what practical step you need to take with regards to the messages that come through here. Guys, I am so all over the place. Are you seeing how I'm out of balance? I'll have to meditate after this, and you guys should also meditate. Preferably look for those binaural beats that balance your yin and yang energies. For some reason I feel like that's what's imbalanced in us. The yin and yang energies. The yin is the one that goes with the flow, the feminine energy. And then the yang is the one that takes action. The ideas come from your yin energy, and then your yang takes those ideas and brings them into action. Again, guys, another four of swords. Rest. Some of you are actually just feeling sad because you're not sleeping enough. Period. Nothing else. You're just not getting enough rest. Usually when you don't have enough rest, everything else in your life just goes much slower because your hormone levels are low, your energy levels are low, you become moody. So, yep, practical step, just sleep. Ooh, that came up very aggressively. The King of Wands. Okay. Interesting, the juxtaposition of this, right? This looks so low energy, rest, and then this is action, fire, you know? Like the lion, the King of Wands usually has so much energy. Okay, so let me see what I'm getting here. So the general theme is that there's something out of balance within us, within you, and we need to get back that balance. And I've said I think it's the yin and yang energies inside of us that are out of balance, and that's why we feel we don't have enough energy to do anything, we don't have psyche to do anything, we feel emotionally overwhelmed because there's something inside of us that's out of balance. And with this Four of Cups here, I'm getting that some of you are feeling like you've been waiting for something exciting to happen in your life, because the world, right? Like the world, see how excited she is? Yeah? But upside down, reversed, it means some of you are feeling like you've been in the same situation over and over and over again. Like you're replaying the same scenario, the same relationship problems, the same work problems. Like you just feel like your life is there's no life in your life. Like you feel bored. Like you want something new, a change of scenery of some sort. But for some reason you feel stuck. Like it's like things are just not moving to the next level like you thought it would. And it's making you feel bored and tired. And maybe that's why I felt called to talk about that portion where I said that sometimes I'm too clever for my own good with my guides when I tell them, right now, maybe where I've reached, where I am right now, here, is enough. Let me continue the rest of my mission work in my next lifetime. Because I am so tired of repeating the same lessons, the same, making the same mistakes over and over again, or learning the same thing over and over again. I'm so tired. But the message coming through here from Spirit is there's a bigger plan. Remember I said some of you, you're too clever for your own good that you forget to see the bigger picture. If you look closely at this card, you can see it's like this is a little bit gloom, blues, rhythm and blues, like the blues, like gloomy, but then there's so much color on this side, but she's not facing that side, she's facing this side. She's focusing on all those things that are not going well in front of her. But if she just shifted her perspective and looked the other way, which is the bigger picture, she'd see so much life and color on that other side. Yeah. So the message here is, yes, it's true, you're sort of going like round and round in circles. Yeah. But you have to shift your perception and see this round and round in circles as, because this is how the universe sort of expands. It expands in sort of like a spiral kind of motion, and that spiral goes outwards, moves outwards. So as much as you're always going round and round in circles, it's circling outwards and outwards. So even if you're finding yourself in the exact same position again, usually you're looking now at that thing from a different perspective. Okay, you've learned so much that you're now seeing it from a different perspective. So it's like, take it like when you're climbing a mountain, and the way you're climbing that mountain is you're going around that mountain. That's how you're climbing it, right? So if you started at the bottom, as you go high and higher up, yes, it's like you're going back to the same spot, but as you go up, you're always at a different vantage point, like you're seeing things from a different perspective. Okay, so Spirit is saying, yeah, we know you've gone through this over and over again, like it feels like you're not moving on to the next phase, because the World card usually represents completion of a cycle. But when it's reversed, it means there's still some things there's still some tiny little things that need to be fixed. See this? Yeah, they're just some small little details that the universe has to take care of before you can finally complete this circle and move on to the next thing. Because when it comes up, it means you have reached that final point. You've reached that last point on this journey. See this cup? You've reached that last point. But there are just some small little details that that the universe needs to fix, so that you can move on to the next other cycle, like you can move on to another mountain, right? So right now you're still going round and round in that mountain. Maybe right now you're at the peak. Before that you were at the base or at the middle, but now you're at the peak. But there's few little details that need to be ironed out before you can completely do away with this ring and move on to a new ring. Okay, so for now, Spirit is telling you, just try and look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that as much as you feel like you're going through the exact same freaking thing, just know that now you're looking at things from a different perspective. You're at a higher point. You're not where you began. Yes, you're seeing the same thing you saw when you began, but right now you've ascended. If you started at 1D, now you're like at 4D. Okay, so just shift your perception. Look at the bigger picture. Okay, things will soon, you're just in a transition phase. Things will soon iron out and there's a new beginning starting up for you. Okay, just shift your perception and try and find your balance. Okay, do whatever it takes to find your balance. And for some of you, the way you'll find that balance is by balancing your yin and yang energies within you. Okay, because whatever's you're going through right now, it's sort of fated, because when a major arcana comes up in the reading, usually means something that the Fool is going on a journey that is fated, right? And the World is the last step of the Fool's journey in tarot, meaning the events that are occurring in your life right now are fated, and there's nothing you can do to change that outcome. So right now you just need to ride that wave. Okay, just ride the wave and wait it out, and in the meantime just try and find your balance. Okay, usually in a marathon, it's the last steps, those last few kilometers, not like last few kilometers, the last 100 meters are usually the toughest, but your guides are saying, just hold on, you're on the last step, you're there. It's just that the universe needs some time to make some things happen before you can start your new phase. Okay, right, so what practical step can you take other than what I just said about balancing your yin and yang chakras? There's nothing like yin and yang chakras. Yin and yang energy meridians. What can you do? Well, sleep, just rest. See what I said about whatever's going through, what you're going through right now is fated. There's really nothing you can do to control it, and I'm sensing that some of you are a little bit of control freaks. You like being in control, yeah, and Spirit is saying whatever's happening now is out of your hands. Spirit has a plan, yeah, and the best way to go through whatever it is you're going through is just take some time out, breathe, put aside those assignments, those work duties that you need to accomplish. Just sleep more, rest more. Okay, when you do that, you'll get the energy to move ahead. And with this King of Wands here, the way these two cards are juxtaposed, I'm getting the sense that, because the Four of Swords usually sometimes means going within to find the answers, so when it's paired here with the King of Wands, your soul, your higher self is saying, when it's time to take action, see that lion in the background? You will know. Okay, when it's time to take action and start working on your projects that you've sort of not had energy to work on, you will know. Your intuition will let you know. But the way your intuition will be strengthened, because right now you're so overwhelmed, you're not even able to tap into your intuition properly, is by sleeping. Just relax. Okay, just relax. Put aside those to-do lists that you have. Okay, the only thing you need to do right now is take care of your body, sleep, shower, eat, and then watch your favorite whatever movie or whatever. Just chill. When the time to take action, when you're ready to take action, your guide, this lion, in fact, for some of you, I'm getting a very direct message from your higher self. When it's time to take action, you'll probably see a lion in some place, probably in your dreams, okay? Because it's at the back, right? So for most of you, you'll see a lion in your dreams. And when you see that lion, that's your intuition telling you, okay, right now, get up, get moving. It's time to take action and now start completing that to-do list, okay? And then for some of you, you might just maybe see a lion if you're in Africa, like for us. Okay, I'm not in Africa right now, but when I was in Africa, I live in Africa, seeing lions was a normal thing, like going to work, they'd run away from the national park. So some of you might actually physically see a lion, but make sure you're at a distance. Don't go pet the lion. Anyway, so you'll see a lion. That's the direct message I'm getting. You'll see a lion somewhere in your vicinity, in dreams, in a movie, in a series, on a newspaper, on a book. But for some of you, you'll also see it in your dreams. And when you see that lion, then just know that's your inner self saying, you've now recuperated, you've re-energized yourself, okay? You're not feeling that emotional overwhelm I picked up in the energy reading, and it's now time to move ahead with your projects. So in essence, your soul is saying, just surrender to divine timing right now, okay? Okay, you're going through an intense spiritual transformation, and you just need to relax and rest and try and see things from a higher perspective, okay? Just shift your perception. Stop focusing on the things that are not going on well in your life. Focus on the things that are going well. So even if it's just the tiniest little thing, put your focus on that tiny little thing. It'll give you the courage to keep on going. Because remember, guys, you're the warrior, right? You don't let things bring you down for too long. You always find a way to get up and get moving. So for now, just surrender to divine timing. And when you see that lion in your day-to-day whatever activities, then just know that's your higher self now saying, okay, now it's time to take action. But for now, just try and find balance by resting, okay, and shifting your perception. And I sort of feel like getting another oracle deck from the animals, because with this lion here, I feel like getting an oracle reading from the spirit animal deck. Let's see what the animal spirits want to tell you. And for some of you, it could mean that the lion is your animal totem or your animal guide. So maybe read about how the lion shows up in your life as a guide. You'll probably get more messages there. And we have, yep, the flamingo. Embrace the in-between. Okay, like I just said, you guys are in some transitional phase, okay? You're in some transitional phase, and what is going on right now in your life is something that is out of your control. But your guides are saying they got you. You're in good hands, okay? So it's okay for you to surrender and just rest. It's okay, they'll take care of your heart, okay? Don't worry too much. They've got you. They'll take care of you. But you're in between worlds, and that can mean you feel a bit bored. See, even this girl, she's sort of like in between worlds. See, her hair is partly, just a little bit of her hair is towards that red side, yeah, but most of it is on this side. So you're in between, okay? So just rest. And for another group of you, you might see flamingos in your dreams. There's a time I saw flamingos in my dreams. It was a very interesting dream. Like we were flooded and bamboozled by flamingos. Anyway, so yeah, embrace the in-between, okay? And just find balance. Do I feel like getting more cards? Yes. Let me see what your ancestor guides have for you, because for some reason I felt like talking about the ancestors in the introduction. So let's just see what message your ancestral guides have for you. What guidance, final guidance do you have for them with regards to this transitional period that they're going through? And some of you, I suggest you read about your north node and your south node, because the collective energies that I'm getting right now is the transition that you're going through is you're moving from your south node, from relying too much on your south node, and you're now moving to your north node, okay? And your south node is the things in your life that you're very good at and you're very comfortable doing, but if you dwell on them too much, they prevent you from growing as fast as you should, because you're already a guru at them, so there's nothing more you can learn about them, and it's usually about your past life. And then your north node is the things that your soul came here to learn, yeah? And so those things that pertain to your north node can be a bit challenging, yeah? But there you'll find your deepest fulfillment, okay? Please go to my podcast. I talk a lot about there's an episode I've talked about the north node and south node, so I'm sure you'll get some more messages there. The link to that podcast is in the description box. So yeah, so look up your north node and your south node and see how those energies are affecting you right now, because I have a feeling it also has to do with that transition that you're going through. You're releasing some past life karma, and you're moving into a new life karma. You're forming a new karma for yourself, yeah? Right, so let's see. Final message from your ancestors with regards to this transition. Okay, these two cards want to come up. Embrace the energy of peace. Right, don't fight so much. Don't swim against the current, okay? The more you try and swim, the harder it becomes, okay? Like I said, some of you are a bit of control freaks and you find it really hard to just relax, yeah? But your guides are saying right now, it's out of your control. And the best thing you can do right now is just to relax and float. If you're used to swimming against the current, just float. Let the current take you over, okay? And embrace the energy of peace. And then the other card that came up is, yep, love and let yourself be loved. Self-love. Take care of yourself. Nurture yourself. Do that one thing or two things that make you feel good, yeah? Whatever that is, that's what your heart guardian is telling you. And I can't help but notice heart guardian and the heart is here, yeah? And that's also the other message that I said. Don't worry, just sleep. The heart guardian is taking care of your heart, okay? When it's time to take action, the lion and the flamingo will come through to you and talk to you. So with that said, in this very interesting reading, I hope you find something useful from this reading, and check out my other videos in the playlist. I'm sure you'll get more messages there. Other than that, see you in my next reading. I wish you all the luck this week and just ride the wave, and yeah, I send you all the love and blessings. Bye.